I scheduled it for 12:05, but I went early. Technically, we were late, so I went early because we're already late. That's the whole thing. Up, email.
Nice.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, guys. Oh,
I said hello, everybody, but at least on our end, we can't see anybody's here. Oh, there's one. Hello, person. Hello, anybody and everybody who's watching this. It's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday.
It's the Tuesday live.
Coffee and tea.
Coffee and tea. Smelling all the tea. Oh, cool. Hello. Upstate. What's up, Tim?
Hey.
Tim Sinclair. T, what's up? Okay. Everybody's coming on in.
Nice.
Good to see y'all.
Yeah. Well, welcome to Part of Love. If you are watching this after the fact.
Yes.
This is a safe space to talk about all things love. Everything is always on the table. This is not a kids show. This is a show about love and families, but it is not kid appropriate.
No.
Just opening with that.
Barely adult appropriate.
I
realize this is a little bit high, so I'm just going to point it down ever so slightly. Boom.
We good?
Yeah. You scoot closer
nice.
to me?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Always.
You look hot. I just wanted to tell you.
Thanks.
You look very attractive.
I'm not in love with my hair today.
What?
It's just a little flat for my taste, you know?
Mine too.
But no, put your head back.
Sorry. She's like, don't let them see what you really look like.
Well, no, you just did a whole workout and then you just put your head on.
Yeah.
You have an excuse for it to be, you know.
And they got these like my ear pubes are going strong.
Don't call them ear pubes.
I know it's gross, but I'm just saying that's what they look like to me.
I can trim those, I think.
Yeah, I trust that.
Yeah, right.
Hello, everybody. Melissa, Kimmy, T, you're very sweet. How's everybody doing today? Everybody having a good day?
It was an exciting week.
It was an exciting week.
I mean, let's
man.
It's yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to say it. I mean, well, it was an exciting week in America as a whole. Like it's still an exciting week. There's the election happened.
Yeah.
We have just, I think as a country, everything is, we possibly have a new vaccine for the world. Like, how cool is that?
That's amazing.
Like, life is exciting, not to mention on our personal end, a lot of little things have been happening. So yeah, I can only assume everybody has been having crazy times.
Right.
Crazy times.
There's good momentum in the air, though.
Yeah.
There's
a lot of good
momentum.
Keep that going as best we can on here and out into the world. Let's check all this out. Right. Walked in from grocery shopping. I love that. Hello, everyone in the room. All right, y'all talk amongst yourselves. We will get started over here. I don't know what today's topic is, but this is Andrew's magic.
My magic
Post-it notepad.
Post-it notes. I'm obsessed with these Post-it notes. I have them all around the house now.
Literally. Let me see if I can, because that's important. It's important to me.
It's important that you see
I want you to know that we're officially not sponsored currently by Post-it, but Post-it. If anybody knows,
send me some free Post-its though.
If anybody knows anybody at Moleskine or Post-its, that's kind of our go-tos. And that would be great. We'd appreciate that.
Well, let me talk about today's topic. So this isn't like a very clear topic, but this is just sort of a conversation starter. And it's a two-parter.
Okay.
So because of, the platform that we've started, we have so many friends, clients, each other. We hash out our pain, right? And so people come to us and go, this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened. And, we keep hashing it out and we keep hashing it out. At a certain point, we have to go, okay, well, now what? What are you going to do?
Oh, sorry.
You have two choices. They both begin with C.
Continue.
You can crumble.
Oh.
And continue from that experience. Okay. You can let it, just kind of, swallow you up.
Can I guess what the other one is?
Yes.
Chisel. You can charm. No, I don't. You should probably tell me.
You can change.
That makes more sense.
And you can allow the experience to change you and to help you grow, obviously, right? So I think something to keep in mind is after we have identified and written down, spoken out loud, what it is, what pain we have gone through,
the what
my husband left me, my girlfriend broke up with me, whatever it is, like I've been cheated on, I've, even if it's just not a relationship thing, like
they forgot my birthday.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I mean, we talk
deal.
about these big things a lot of times, but I think we also forget that it's in the minutia, and that's obviously a big thing, but they never ask me what I want for dinner, or never ask me what I want to watch, or they never ask me, how my day was. They don't know this about me. They forgot this.
But what are you going to do when this happens to you? I mean, we can only say, and I'm not speaking to anyone out there specifically, but like, it's like if I come home and complain about something that happened at work over and over and over again, and at a certain point you go, well, come on, lady, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
What are you going to do? You like, I'm here for you to vent, but that's only healthy for so long. I mean,
okay. So this literally happened to us early on, and both ways. But the one that I'm talking about was, so I would come home, and when we met, I was 160 pounds, 165 pounds.
Yeah.
I was, I was just a dancer. I was in good shape, but I was very thin. And I remember that there was someone that I knew who I had performed with who was like built, like muscular and very strong. And I would talk about them all the time because I wanted to be in shape like that. And I had always wanted that since I had like this Men's Health magazine when I was a kid. And I saw this guy, there was an ad that sticks out in my head, this guy grilling. And I was like, oh, that's great. He's not too big. He's not too small. And I got this thing in my head. So I started talking about it. Every day I'm talking about it. I'm talking about it so much that I noticed that she is not really listening anymore. And then she one day just goes, oh my God. Oh, then go to a gym. You don't work out. Stop talking about it. Just do it.
Right.
Like, what is wrong with you? If you want to do it, just do it. And that was the first time that somebody had said it like that. Yeah. And especially somebody that like I respected and loved, that was just like, then do it.
Right.
Change.
I think that is exactly what I'm getting at, though. It's like we can only complain so much about our situations, because at the end of the day, we are truly responsible for wherever we are in our lives. And I don't want to say whatever's happening to you necessarily, but you do not have to stay there. If you are being affected in some way, you have the power to change that situation.
Yeah.
No matter what it is, with
regards to relationships,
with regards to relationships, but even sometimes in our life, it's been like, how do I get out of this situation? I am unhappy because of XYZ. I don't have enough money. I don't like my job. I don't, whatever. At a certain point, you have to stop complaining and you have to come up with a strategic plan and stick to it,
stick.
I mean, there's a reason why I do love these Post-its, because I think, I do. You use it to write down everything, and you're like, wait, okay, I can see it all over the house, but
literally, it's mostly all over the kitchen.
Right.
Like the kitchen area has just become a sticky note haven. It's like a fortress made of sticky notes. But yes, it keeps it. I always say that too when we're talking, because we, at night we take the girls for a walk, and when we're walking, we always have these long talks, and sometimes we'll get into subjects where I'm like, I can't talk about this right now because I can't keep it straight in my head. I need to sit down, write this down, and have a visual map to look at and to walk myself through and to remember these things. And I find that helps me a ton. But just acknowledging it. I mean, there's a fair bit of philosophy in what we're talking about, which is why especially Stoic philosophy is something that I dig so much, is because you can look at any situation and decide what you do with that.
Right.
And how you use that, whether it's to help yourself or whether it's to help others or whether it's to survive or what that is. But to just sit and crumble under the weight of it won't help you, won't help anybody.
Right.
Also, though, with regards to this, there's a step that comes before what we're talking about, which is accepting your situation.
Right.
The acceptance of your situation, taking responsibility for how you got there. Those are very important aspects before you can decide, am I going to change
Right.
or am I going to crumble?
Right.
First, you have to, and that's why we always talk about, step one is that writing down what is happening what is happening and why, right?
Mhm.
Because then you're accepting, first off, this is what is happening. This is how I got here. Now, where do I go from here?
Yeah.
And
sometimes
how?
Yes. But when you
I
write
got a
it
whole
down,
thing.
don't you think it helps you? Sometimes we as human beings are, these very emotional creatures, and we're sometimes addicted to drama. Like literally, like we've carved these like pathways, these neural pathways in our brain are like, if you've been addicted to drama for a long time or any kind of,
Addiction.
emotional pattern, it's hard to come out of that. So if you write it down, you can clearly see and take the emotion out of it, or at least, begin to, and you can make your, basically like how you make a pros and cons list. Like you can literally map out a plan. This is what I know for sure. This is what I want to achieve or where I want to go with this situation. Yeah. This is how I'm going to get there. Like it's very like emotionless, and it will really help you get to where you want to go.
100%. I had a conversation with myself the other day that I feel like a lot of times I look at, well, what can you prove? Like, what can you prove about a situation? It's not that, it's what do I have evidence of? So when we're looking at any of this, what, why, or how, or where I'm going to go, when you're asking yourself these questions, what do I have evidence of? This is because a lot of times I think we get into these situations and we don't accept them, or we don't accept the truth of them, the why of them, because we're looking at, well, this is how this person feels. And you're like, well, okay, well, what's the evidence thereof, so that you feel stronger in your convictions? Well, this is why I feel this way. This is why I believe that this is happening. This is what I have evidence of. It doesn't mean that that's how they feel. Like the other day, and I'm maybe this is a week ago, but just sometime in our past, I was out having, a little walk and talk with myself. And I was like, I think she's upset with me. And I was like, but I can't prove that she's upset with me, but this is why I think she's upset with me. Right. And I ran through the list and I literally was writing it down on my phone. Like, this is what I have I have evidence for. She is like this. She is this. She is this. And then I kind of worked through it. I was like, oh, this may be what's going on.
Right.
And I came back into the house and talked to you, and it turned out that I was totally wrong. I was literally, I had built a whole case for trying to figure out what was upsetting you. And it was just something totally different that had nothing to do with me at all, but I had internalized that. And so I'm saying sometimes what you think is going on may not be, but that's why that communication is there. And I chose, instead of to crumble under you being upset and to be mad at you and to be passive back to you, I wanted to create, that communication. So we changed. And now I know that sometimes when I feel that way, that is absolutely not what's happening. So that's pretty cool. Should we go to the comments for a second?
Let's go to the comments for a second.
Hello, everybody. I think we got through most of these. Hi, Amelie. Bonjour. Truth. Took a brave and scary step yesterday for support and funding for our theater in my position. Get it.
Good
job, on you. Tim. Well, fingers crossed. Hope that comes through.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously, we support the arts, and I know, schools are having a hard time right now, especially like all these activities that we love, like that normally have to happen in person. We're like trying to figure out how to do it on Zoom, but I hope you get the funding. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, Kelly.
I love that you just said that. She said, Andrew, you have such luscious mermaid hair today.
Oh, thanks.
She was just complaining about it.
I was just complaining about it because I was like, it's a little flat today,
Hey, Josie, hi.
But thanks, Kel.
Yeah, stoked.
Thanks. Well, just to recap, we're talking about,
for those of you who just joined.
After you've, had enough time, which we all do, need to bend and accept our situation at whatever it is that we're in, whether you're, hurt by my husband just left, or I was cheated on, or someone forgot my birthday, or whatever it is.
Or just someone's not communicating, someone's not treating me the way I feel I deserve to be treated.
Yeah, you can do two things. You can crumble and let it eat you alive, or you can pull up and change.
I love that you look down like you don't know the word you're going to say. You were like, and change.
You can change and you can let it affect you and grow. And the second thing that I wanted to say is, why do we not, once we identify the issue and we identify, whether it's on paper or just out loud, that we are uncomfortable with this thing, I can't get past this thing, or it's affecting my life, I don't want this anymore, I don't choose this for myself anymore. Why is it so hard for us to grow and change with that, And I think it's scary. I'm going to say my two opinions about that, or it's scary to show your strength, to yourself. It's scary to do new things and go about things in different ways than you normally would. And it also is scary to stop filling that position for other people. So like if you've allowed someone to take advantage of you for a long time, let's say, when you decide you're going to change, you have to become someone different. I mean, you already have become someone different because you've been hurt and affected by it. But to show them that you are different, it takes a lot of courage. Yeah. And it's easy just to fill these positions that people, it's comfortable for them to accept you in a certain way.
Yeah.
But it's uncomfortable for us to not change. So I think there's a lot of that happens.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I totally agree with that.
Yeah. It's like, sometimes and this is an easy example. Sometimes like with our families, it's like do you ever feel like if you go visit family, sometimes you're instantly like your 12-year-old self, you find yourself like sometimes reverting back to a certain habit or way of being, if you're around your college friends,
now you're stealing mine. Come on.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
What are you doing over here? Okay. That's my thing.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I was literally just going to say, I think that a lot of times, and I know I've talked about this before, either on the channel or I know I've talked about it on the channel, but I've also talked about it in some of the live talks that we've done other places, which is a lot of times we'll get around people and that we haven't seen in a while, or that we haven't, maybe we've had a bunch of personal growth and then we get around them. And instead of sticking with that personal growth, we go back to being who we were for them or with them because it makes them more comfortable, which in turn is about making us more comfortable, which in turn is just about hiding. It's about not actually growing. Right. And it's about being yourself only when you're not around them. And that's such a hard thing. But it kind of comes back to these two choices. You can choose that general choice. I think a lot of times we, whether it's on Instagram or Facebook or, YouTube, on these kind of things, we hear and see these quotes, these things, you can change or you can crumble, the two C's. And that it sounds great, but that's not a one-time choice. No. It's not even an event, like a life event choice. It's a daily choice. You can choose to crumble under each one of those. Yeah. So you may have made a ton of choices in that. The growth that you had separately from everybody, it's not easy, but if you go back and you do fall into that the first time you go back, it doesn't mean that you didn't do that work.
Well, that's the thing. And I think there's and I like using these words because they sound really intense, but when I say crumble, I don't actually mean that you, A, don't have the right to be scared or feel afraid, B, that you don't have the right to give yourself compassion through like a difficult time. It just means that you're not going to continue to do and suffer the same way that you have been suffering. You're going to pull yourself up and only you can decide to do this and figure out what is the next right step. Sometimes it's just sitting there and breathing through it.
Literally.
Whatever that is, though, it's just choosing the fact that I'm going to do the next right thing for myself right now. And that's not crumbling. And
accepting, though, that I'll say this, like with the specific,
you got
try that again. With the specific, well, now I can't find the next word. With the
wow. Wow. Do you need some water?
Yeah, maybe I need some more coffee. I'm just kidding. It's actually coffee. Within the specific example of college, right? There was when quarantine first happened, and everybody was jumping on Zoom calls with everybody they'd ever met, so that they could have some kind of interaction with people. My college class got together over Zoom, and I was committed to a different Zoom meeting at the time. And we only did like 3 of them over the entirety of quarantine in the first place. But I was happy that I had an excuse, but either way, I don't think that I would have gone to it because, and not because I didn't like those people. I didn't like who I was. Like, I have grown so much that I knew that it was likely that I would just try and fill in kind of a spot as whoever I used to be to make that situation comfortable for everybody. So I kept myself out of that. That said, I think that was the first time I had ever done that. You know, I remember as when I met you and I started having these bouts of growth, I would see friends and I would immediately be the old version of myself. And that doesn't mean the bad version. It just means like I'd never necessarily held myself up in the same way. I didn't love myself the same way. I didn't treat myself with any regard. And then over time, I noticed when we would leave, you would be like, you know, you would never say like, you're just different around them. But I could always tell there was something, and I would see little things where I would say something or do something or try to entertain everybody, try to be the class clown. And you would be like, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I'm doing this because I'm kind of choosing to crumble right now to make everybody comfortable. So I don't have to stand up for the fact that I'm just not that person anymore. And maybe I am to some degree, but there's the point of all of this being over time, I would see people, friends, we would see them and I was me, but still like, you know, funny, still fun, still those things, but I was who I wanted to be, not who they wanted or needed me to be. And that was when I started realizing, oh, it's a long-term thing. So if you go home and see your family or you see
old friends or,
you know, exes or whoever, and you're like, I'm going to be cool today. I'm going to be the best version of myself. And you're not, that's okay. Be a little bit better next time. We always say this in dance class, always say this. When you're doing this, like dance is a very, I guess, analogous example to what we're talking about. And it's kind of accessible in this easy way, as a metaphor for life, right? Okay. If you don't like the way something looks, we always say, look at yourself in the mirror.
Yeah.
That's why mirrors exist in dance. It's a visual art form, right? It's an aesthetic art form. Look at it, decide whether or not you like it. And when you are completely happy with it, move on.
Right.
But you're running it over and over and over and over and over, and it's going wrong and it's going wrong and it's going a little better. And I always say, every time you run a number, once you know like a piece of dance, fix one thing every time you run it.
Absolutely.
Just one. And sometimes you'll end up messing that thing up later, but you fixed 36 other things. So you're like, oh, I'm going backwards. Oh my God. I'm like, no, I just ran it 37 times. I fixed it. I guess my larger point in all of this is don't push yourself down for the work that you have done. But just because you've done a bunch of work doesn't mean that there's not more to do.
Absolutely. And also, you know, I think it is getting comfortable showing up in your new skin, right? Because we do consistently shed our skin. And you know, our souls are the same, but they're growing and they're changing, you know, like I will forever be affected by this specific cup of coffee today. I realized I put too much cinnamon in there and I hated it, you know? Like, you know what I mean? It sounds so stupid, but like I am forever now like.
It goes in the memory banks of don't put that much cinnamon in there.
Exactly. Like you are always affected by every single thing in your life, you know? Like I put way too much hot sauce on that Mexican food last week and it didn't go so well in the morning, you know? Like.
Or that night,
you know? Like if things you have to learn, otherwise you're crazy. Like, what is it? The definition of insanity is like,
it's misattributed to Albert Einstein, but the definition of psychosis is doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting a different result.
Right.
But it's definitely, I don't know who said it or whether or not it's clinically proven, but that just, it's definitely not smart to do the same. Like, I think the saying probably wouldn't have been so cool if they were like, the definition of it's not real smart is to do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. But it's not healthy and it's not beneficial. And
and so
it's not right.
Right. And to sit in a situation that you are unhappy about, and not do anything about is, I think, insane, at a certain point. I think it's insane, and I have so much compassion for myself and others because I also am there with you. Yeah. But sometimes I have to take a look outside of myself and I'll be like, God damn it, this freaking thing. I'm like Marv from Home Alone, And I'm like, Angelina, what? Stop it. You're driving yourself going crazy over this thing. Yeah. I'm annoying myself because I cannot stop complaining about this freaking thing, whatever it is, do something about it. Yeah.
And if you guys don't ever forget that these things that we talk about, some of them are lessons that we've learned and we have danced in front of that mirror so many times where we're like, I like the way this looks. I like the way I do this.
Yeah.
But there are things that we talk about that I was out walking this morning being like, get it together. Come on, Prattis. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we are also going through these things. We are also trying to learn these things.
But it's good to share it, I think. And as we grow and master it together, I think that's what it's about. Yeah. Like
reminding ourselves that we are not, the goal can be perfection, but it won't happen. Like, you will never achieve it. There is nobody that is perfect other than maybe Chris Evans. He's pretty great. I'm just saying, it's Captain America.
He's cute.
But the point is like, it's very sweet. I saw that coming a mile away.
I know. I know. Had to say it though.
It's just, I think that there's an element of this that we need to accept. Just be one bit better. Just fix one thing every time you go into the fray, as it were. And we're constantly in the fray. We are constantly in these situations. And not acknowledging that is not going to help you, right? Acknowledging it and acknowledging that there's growth to be had from it is far better. Sorry, an alarm just came up. So yeah, I really like that.
I really like that too. It's a good reminder, I think, for myself. Sometimes I have to, because I think we have so much internal dialogue, like we all do. Right. And I don't know. I hope we all do. Maybe it's just me and you.
You have a lot of it.
I
let mine out. I just talk to myself out loud.
You have a crazy man walking in the neighborhood with your coffee.
I literally, in the morning, I literally do a walk and talk. I think I talked about this on the refinery. And I may have talked about it a little on here, but in the mornings, I literally just go outside and I walk and talk to myself because I know that I cannot hide from my opinions. I was talking about something this morning and I went, I don't even want to have this conversation with myself. And I was laughing because I was like, I look like a genuinely insane person. I put earbuds in now, even though there's nothing going on, so that people think I'm on the phone.
Right. That's probably smart, actually.
Sounds crazier now that I'm telling you. But
our neighbors already are still not used to us, let alone the fact that
we got some good ones. We got some really good ones.
But, my point is I annoy myself sometimes from complaining or rehashing something over and over and over again instead of just doing something about it.
Oh, God, yeah.
Do something about it. I don't know what that is always. I don't always have the right answers or the right tools, but whether I have to Google it or, ask for help or whatever it is, you just got to do it.
Yeah.
Write that email,
Write that email.
Have the courage to say, I don't think so. I won't be attending that.
Yes. Have the courage to go pick up a book.
Right.
Go read. I'm telling you, all of the questions that we have ever had about any situation have been dealt with by philosophers and psychologists and authors and other human beings. We are not the first. We will not be the last to go through these problems.
Yeah.
And books help so much. We have a storage unit in LA that is full of boxes and boxes and boxes of books. I have like a couple of shelves back here, but like, and I just mean this in the sense of sometimes I love my friends. And if my friends are on here, I love my family. My family's, I know, on here. Sometimes your friends, your family, even you cannot help me.
No.
Sometimes we just don't have the answers. And sometimes you're like, I don't want to explain it again. And I don't want to try and explain the depth of this thing. Like I just can't get, I can't get anybody else to understand the depth of this. But there are authors, there are philosophers who have done this and who may have those answers. And I love that I'm learning in the camera to dodge your hair flips.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, it's good.
They're yeah. There's a lot going on today.
It's pretty incredible. Also, for those of you, this is a pin, little side thing. I have an eye appointment after this. My eye is doing much better. I can almost read www.youtube.com at the top. I know that it says YouTube, but like I can almost read the comments section from here.
You can?
So almost. It's like barely fuzzy, and it was non-existent and very fuzzy. So it's all getting better. It's very good. Just wanted to give an update because you guys are always very kind and asking about that. So I was just thinking about that because I noticed things were a little fuzzy, and we're going to the eye doctor after this.
I'm excited to go.
I'm excited.
I hope she's like.
I also love that doctor.
She's very cool.
She's so great.
There's nothing better than when you get a really good doctor.
Yes, especially one that you happen to have to see every single day for a week, and then every week after that. But yeah, no, so just sorry, I totally pull the pin out. And I just think that this whole concept of change versus crumble is one that is important, and realizing that just because sometimes you're going to crumble, but whether you're changing or you're crumbling, you are always building yourself back up.
Absolutely.
Ooh,
and I think there's also like quote. That is a good quote. Someone write that down.
Put it on Instagram.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Tag us.
Yeah, just tag me.
I think there's like I always have this little battle with myself. Not battle is the wrong word, but I go back and forth between like trying to give myself enough compassion, which I know I don't always do, and then pushing myself, right? And I think a lot of us struggle with this. And so sometimes we want to sit in the bitching mode and sit in our sorrows for much longer than we should.
Feels good.
Feels good.
Oh, it feels so good
indulge.
To be just like,
right? But at a certain point, you have to be able to give yourself compassion and give yourself a little kick in the booty.
Yes. Okay. So this is one of those reasons that I'm going to continue talking about the walk and talk. Okay. The reason that I like it.
Yeah.
And the reason, it's the same reason that I love being married to you and having these conversations, is because at a certain point, and this is why I'm saying the walk and talk versus this, I can lie to you. I don't like to, but I will rationalize to you. And that's what we call, we'll rationalize to our friends. We'll rationalize our way out of things. And we'll say, well, and they'll be like, well, how do you feel? And you're like, well, I don't really want to dump the full intention of that, but you already know how you genuinely feel.
Right.
So in those situations, I'll say this, and now, sorry, my buddy Ben called me on the fact that I'll say this.
Yeah, it's your old man.
It's my like
old man practice.
So I'll say this. I know when I am watching a YouTube video for research purposes or wasting time. I know when I am babying myself or when I'm giving myself a break because I need it. I know when that time is. You are the only one who knows when that time is. And you can see it. You know when you feel like, wow, I have bitched a lot in this moment, or I've been angry about this a lot. And now I'm just doing it because it feels good. I didn't even mean that. Like, why did I say that?
Yeah.
Why did I say it like this? And if you question it at all, question it entirely and really understand why you're feeling like that. Because if you don't understand at all why you're feeling it, then that's step one. Like,
I mean, the truth of the matter is, though, is every single situation is figure outable.
Yes.
That is
a
word
scientific term.
Stole though from Marie Forleo.
Okay.
I mean, I like her,
Yeah.
but I do like that she came up with that
I
word
love
and
that
that
term.
saying. She's like, everything is figure outable. And I agree. I know it sounds silly, but I agree, right?
Yeah.
So when you realize that, you can't really complain forever. It's okay to vent, but and be hurt, but then you do have to figure it out. Or you don't have to, then you can just crumble and complain.
I think it then goes back to the, that I don't know if it's a kind of Bible verse or what it is,
right.
but that proverb of, God give me the strength to change the things I can change. And I don't know it verbatim. I'll learn it. But that concept of everything is figure outable. And if it's not, then you can't fix it. So then,
but we have the ability to change our circumstances.
Yes. You get to a place where you at least know what you can and cannot change, and the things you can't change, you go, okay, well, okay, now I can work on these.
I'm going to share this little story, right?
Ooh.
There's an excuse that we can come up for every single thing ever, right? Okay. That said, we were in a very hard financial situation a long time ago. Well, over the course of our relationship, we've been in a couple, actually, really terrifying situations. And Serenity Prayer. And the first time we were in that situation, though, I looked at you, or we looked at each other, and we're like, this is beyond. And instead of just, we had a couple good cries and we were terrified, and we were like, how are we going to do this?
Yeah.
How do we dig ourselves out of here? And you know what? We did it by the skin of our teeth. We were like, I don't know how, but we're going to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And it involved all kinds of things. I was making I think I was I was on Craigslist looking for jobs.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? To make $20 here and there.
Yes. Oh my God.
I mean, how do you do this? There is always a way.
And it's also,
tell me, and you can't blame it on, well, you're smarter, or you're quicker, or you're prettier. There's always going to be someone that you think is better. Those are dumb excuses, right? Go out there and make it happen.
I love that.
There is a way to make it happen. Was I tired? Yes. Were we exhausted? Yes. Were we our best selves? Always? No. But you can always get to the next step, because then that money, we put us back on our feet to then get a better job, and a better this and a better that. You know what I mean? There's always a way to dig yourself out of whatever hole you're currently sitting in.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is not necessarily easy. There have been times after I have been on big jobs where you're like, okay, I will, I guess I'll be working at Instacart, or driving this car, or doing this thing, or working on this.
That's the truth of the matter. Life does not, just because it's not all Hollywood shiny all the time. You make life decisions, things happen, and you have to put your ego aside and really.
But you choose.
Yeah, you choose.
You choose how you respond. We don't always choose. We don't choose our situations. We choose how we respond to our situations. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we choose the things that lead to our situations, but there are going to be circumstances in our life that happen to us, that genuinely happen to us, where we don't have any control over it. If a tornado comes through and, knocks your house over, you didn't get to choose that. You choose how you respond to it and how you move forward. Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, that was a deep one today.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it though. Let's go over here to the comments real quick. What do we have? Yellow zoned. I don't know what that means. Bonjour. She is a mermaid. I agree. If she could swim,
that's the one thing missing here.
She'd be a whole mermaid. Look at that. And it's truly very beautiful.
That's so sweet.
Agreed.
Emily.
And yeah, this is going to make us think about some things for sure. Everybody doing? Oh, thank you, Josie. You had asked about my eye. Even better. See, I couldn't read it because I couldn't see it. One way to keep people away from you during COVID. That's very true. Just talk to yourself.
Right.
Novely Vlogs. You said what's your favorite book? My favorite book is East of Eden by John Steinbeck. I have a copy back here. Yeah, hands down. Like, hands down. Although Great Gatsby, Fitzgerald, like.
You have a couple of favorite books, yeah.
Yeah.
They're like in that top.
Yeah. But then there's like, and those are in the kind of, fiction category. Nonfiction, I would say Discipline Equals Freedom by Jocko Willink is a really good one.
That's your new favorite one.
Yeah, that's a newer one. Marcus Aurelius Meditations, talk about Stoic philosophy. Absolutely. And Epictetus's writings, which weren't actually written by Epictetus, but by one of his students. Either way, those are my favorite books. What is your favorite book?
I don't have, well, I guess the book that changed my life the most was Eat, Pray, Love.
I knew it.
That started my emotional growing journey, evolution of my soul.
Yeah. She writes in such a way that I feel like.
Yeah. And I read, that book is, I'm going to date myself, but I read that book a long time ago. Because I think it's coming up on its almost 20th anniversary, 18 years maybe. I don't know. Either way. But then, I love Elizabeth Gilbert. I love Esther Perel. I love
Mating in Captivity. We talk about that all the time. Ooh.
I love a good Brene Brown. I really, really love Glennon Doyle, Love Warrior, and her new book, Go Get It, Untamed. It's brilliant. Yeah, those are some good ones to start with.
Yeah, for sure. And then last but not least, we have it's the Serenity Prayer. Thank you. Yes, the prayer that I was talking about earlier is the Serenity Prayer.
Callie, speaking of life lessons, what's your advice on not dragging your old emotional baggage and personal instances of being hurt into a new relationship?
Oh, I think this is a twofold thing, personally.
Go for it.
Well, because I don't entirely think you shouldn't, because there are instances that teach you.
Yes.
So if
sort of like last week's, was that this Thursday's episode? Letting it go.
Yeah.
And some things you should not let go.
42 minutes. Bah! I drop that up here. That was a good one. That was, I think, a long one, but I really liked it.
It was a long one, but it was all about Cal, like, I think we have a culture of like trying to be evolved and let it go. Like, don't carry this stuff. It's bad for your soul. And sometimes I'm like, no, hang on to that shit. It's trying to tell you something, girl. Like, you'll see the red flag if you maybe don't let it go.
Yeah. I think one of the things is there's carrying, we kind of use these broad stroke terms, right? Or these broad terms and brush with broad strokes when we say things like, emotional baggage. Well, so there's emotional baggage, but a lot of times what we put in the emotional bag is also emotional intellect and things that we've learned. Like, take, for example, let's say a police detective, right? If they have been in a certain situation so many times, there's a statistical, oh, well, this is very possibly how this is going to go again. So it just perks your ears up, right? It makes you a little bit more aware. Oh, I've been in a situation eerily similar to this. I should be cautious. Right. So what you're doing is, if you're dragging your emotional baggage in, and say you were dating somebody who was a complete shithead, just like, across the board, never asked you how you were. And I'm doing the little things up to the big things. Never asked you how you were, never communicated with you, cheated on you, had a secret family, whatever it is, small to big. And then you get out of that relationship, and then you meet someone who does communicate with you and is being open, seemingly, and honest. And it turns out they cheat on you. And then another person comes along, but they're like, it's just better and better and better. But there's always like little issues. You can't hold that last person accountable for how shitty the first person was, or even the second person for exactly what the first person did. Right. Like all those things. But you need to be aware of those signs from that cheating Like if you notice them
Right.
again.
And I'm trying to think of an example of baggage, quote unquote, that is actually baggage and not maybe a learned lesson that you're just maybe a little more aware of.
If you're
of like
dating somebody, they've given you no signs to distrust them, and you're like hacking their email and passwords and checking their phone all the time.
Then we need to be like,
that's a whole other thing.
Yeah. Like
you do need to treat everybody. And that's the thing where you need to treat everybody as different situations. They are different relationships.
Right.
But that doesn't mean you have to ignore any hairs that prick up on the back of your neck. I think that's really important. But until they do, there's no reason to go in being like, God, you're going to be a fuck up. Like,
right.
Yeah,
maybe you're not ready to date yet.
If that's how you feel, like, and I don't think that's what you're saying,
no.
But I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
But
I will also say, like, I had this habit of, I always apologized, I'm very clumsy.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And so
you still do.
I still do. Yeah. But I was in a very abusive relationship where like everything I did was like picked apart, and, I was made to feel like so stupid all the time, and I'm clumsy anyway. And that's part of my charm, as it were, and if you don't, if you don't like it, you don't like it, get out.
Yeah.
But I didn't have
Put
that
down
attitude.
a rug.
Right. I
She's
didn't have that
trip.
attitude back then. Exactly. Because I always trip. And so I was ashamed, and I was, I would beat myself up over these things. And so I remember the first time I think I dropped a plate, which I dropped plates often.
But it was at your apartment, and it was your plate, and it was an empty plate.
Right.
In your apartment.
So upset like that I dropped this plate, because my reaction is not just I'm upset that I don't care about the plate, and I don't care that I have to clean up the mess. It's more that like I felt so stupid, and I'm so sorry I just inconvenienced you, and I'm so like all of this stuff that I was used to being like basically scolded for. And he was like, whoa.
I was like, did I say something?
Are you okay? What? Why? Yeah. Like, why are you? And I had to be like, oh my God. Okay, this is why. But I'll tell you this. I instantly communicated with you.
Yes.
This is why I had this reaction. I'm so sorry. This person used to literally like yell at me for things like this. And I am still healing from that, but I'm letting you know, like up front, because I love you, that like, this is why I'm having this reaction. Yeah. So I think, again, like communication, of course, you can't always handle what I don't want to say. And I don't even want to say that's baggage. That's like my personal scar and personal growth. I don't think it was even from like as a human being. Now I forever will, have to work through that. Whoever you're, having this reaction to, or
I'm with you, whoever it is.
But yeah, like I think that if I didn't communicate that with you, you would be very confused.
I would definitely be confused. I'd be worried. I would worry if it transferred into other things, but you communicated very quickly. You did nothing wrong just now, and I assumed you would, so I preempted it because this is what I went through before.
Right.
And that still carries over every time you drop something, even if like you drop 3 things in a row, or you'll like run into a door. At this point, I literally walk behind her while she's doing stuff and close. Like every time she opens the microwave, it comes back just a little bit, and she will leave it open. And then I've seen you so many times hit your head on the microwave when you come up, and I'm so scared you're going to cut your head. And like in this beautiful head, I love this head. And so now I'll get up from wherever I am and go close the microwave and just stand there while she's like cooking. Because my job when you're cooking a lot of times is to close things, to pull knives away, to like turn pots back. Because otherwise you'll just like, it's like a Disney cartoon. It just knocks you over.
I'm like Ratatouille,
My eye. Exactly. And it's those kind of like comical things that, but it's changed our life because you let me know early on. I'm clumsy. I do these things. I try to take on too many things at once.
Yeah.
I'm messed up, and I was getting yelled at. And so I still think about it in a way of like, there have been times where you'll drop something and I'm like, like this, it's like the 6th time,
the 17th round,
and there's just a moment in my head,
and I'm like, whoop.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Quick story. We were at, what was that called? It wasn't the Palace. It
used to be called the Time Hotel.
The Time Hotel.
There's any New Yorkers in the house. I don't think there's
right above Glass House Tavern, right?
No, it was it was in the Time Hotel across section.
Oh, okay.
Glass House. But they used to have this lounge that I used to love to, hang out in because no one was ever really there. It was really cool. And
Yeah.
I don't know, but we were there with some friends celebrating something one night. I forget. And I talk with my hands a lot, you guys. So when this poor waitress.
So she orders a whole thing, like we're celebrating somebody. I think it was Nikki was just getting, it was Nikki's, she had just gotten engaged that day, Nikki and Jason.
Was it that?
I think it was, but we had ordered champagne, right? Literally like a big, thing of champagne. There were like 5 or 6 of us there. And so the waitress comes over and is like, oh my God, knocks over the tray of champagne. And we're all drunk. Like, oh my God. No, hasn't had a drink yet. All of us are laughing. It's funny. And the waitress is like, oh my God, it's fine. It's okay. Oh my, I'll go get it. I'll go get more. It's totally fine. Let me clean this up. She comes back and Andrew's talking and goes, oh, honey. Knocks over a whole other tray of champagne. Did it again. At which point, everybody's kind of like, how is this even happening? She comes back for the 3rd time and just flailing about, and I just took your hand and was like, I love you. And then the drinks were set down, right, passed out. But that's a constant thing. But yeah. But because we had talked about that, I knew that you were, especially after the 2nd time, panicking.
Right.
But you were also there with your friends and loved ones. And I'm just saying that even 10 years plus later, it's still something that every time you drop something, I'm thinking it makes an impact on me because I feel so bad that somebody talked to you like that. And since I can't punch him in the face, I would just rather be sweet to you when you drop stuff.
You're very sweet to me when I drop stuff.
Well, thank you. I try.
Very sweet.
So either way, I don't know how we got. Emotional baggage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take it with you because it's necessary. Learn from it, but let go what you need to let go, but also hold on to the things you need to hold on to because
you worked hard for those lessons and that change. You went
through some shit. And if you go through shit, you deserve to reap the benefits of it. And P.S. don't forget that this is kind of a fight or flight response that's built into us as human beings, as animals, as it were. There's a reason we always say, go with your gut, right? There's a reason you feel a certain way in a situation. Now, if you're preempting situations before they ever come anywhere close to happening, that's now on you, just because of something somebody else did. If this new person has given you no reason to feel that way and you're doing it, that is a baggage that I don't believe is healthy. However,
I just realized I hate this word baggage, and I just realized why. Sorry, that seems very...
No, I love it. Go.
Baggage is just stuff that you haven't resolved yet, right? So the pain itself is not the baggage. It's baggage. It's only now baggage because you put the pain in a bag and you haven't dealt with it. You haven't cleaned out the bag and given it away to Goodwill.
Oh, shit.
Or, processed it yet. Otherwise, it's not baggage. It's just a wonderful
lesson.
It's
or something you
that
learned.
Pushed you to grow. Exactly. And it will change you. And that's good. Say thank you. If someone says you're different.
This.
Thank you. I know. But the baggage, I just realized baggage, or we also use it as an excuse. Well, he has a lot of baggage. Well, that just means that hasn't been mature enough to deal with his stuff yet.
Yeah.
He's not self-aware enough or whoever, I'm just making up this scenario, but I just realized I don't like that word for that reason.
Well, I think it doesn't, I think emotional baggage, maybe, I agree. I'm agreeing.
Yeah.
I still kind of love that concept of lugging around shit you haven't dealt with.
Yeah.
I like calling it baggage, but not putting what I think, Kelly, you're talking about into that. Don't bring your baggage to a new relationship. Mm-hmm. Go through it, figure out what it is, and then show up when you're ready and when you've dealt with your stuff, or as much as you feel comfortable. But I don't want to call. So this kind of changes my answer. No, don't bring your emotional baggage into it. Deal with it, and then bring what you've learned from your past relationships into your next relationships. Yeah. That is awesome. Nice job. Hey, twofer. All right. One last time through the comments. Bada boom. Fachette, hey guys.
Hey, girl.
Hey, Fachette. God grant me, this is the serenity prayer. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen. Come on now. I love that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's like finally cleaning out the bottom of your purse.
Which
She's
I
never
really
done.
should. I really
No,
should
but
do that.
seriously.
But yes, but seriously.
Need a shop vac for that thing.
Sometimes there is all kinds of crazy things on that.
Maybe a shop vac in your purse. You wouldn't know. Okay, everybody.
Anyway.
Thanks so much for being here for the Tuesday live coffee and tea.
Thanks, Kelly, for that one.
Yes, that was a really, really nice one. I like that.
Oh, I meant the coffee and tea suggestion. She okay.
Also that.
We love you guys. We'll have a nice little podcast style episode for you Thursday.
Yes.
And then we'll see you back here on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Have a beautiful week.
Also, boys from the refinery had a big talk.
Oh, yeah.
What was it? Last Thursday, about the new episodes, which I think are we're going to start them back up 2 months after the last one ended. So I think we only have like 3 more weeks.
Oh, great.
I'm pretty sure, or less, until the new episodes of the refinery start. So if you haven't seen those, check them out up here. Obviously, it's not here now, but if you check back whenever this video is loaded, then I'll have a little card up here. And until then, I'll just look crazy. Okay. Love you, everybody. Make sure to talk to yourselves. Okay, bye. I love you. Bye.